to our art stations. Let me guide you through all the different stations that we have here for you to use. First up is our coloring pages. Our coloring pages can be found in the rainbow drawers. All you have to do is open up a drawer and grab one coloring sheet. Each drawer has something different. If a drawer is empty, we're all out of that one. Just try another. Now, when we do a coloring sheet, it's all about the quality, not the amount, that quantity of your artwork. You can see some different types of coloring, and some might be a little bit better than others. Take your time and try your very best. And it might take you more than one class period to finish, or maybe you take it home and finish it there. We also have our free draw papers up in the yellow tray on top. Just like with the coloring sheets, you only get one. Now, you can draw anything you want with those free draws, or you can come over to the white basket and grab a how to draw book. Your how to draw book will show you step by step how to draw it. We even have some stencils that you can use to help you draw as well. In our stencil box, there are lots of different stencils, numbers, trucks, all different ones that you can use. When you are doing any of the drawing activities, you can use a pencil, crayons, markers, or colored pencils. Let me show you where those are. Next up, we have our modeling clay. Our modeling clay can be found in the containers. You get to use one container, one color at a time. When you get your modeling clay, you also need to grab a placemat. The placemats can be found underneath. As you work with the modeling clay, it is a little hard to use at first. It needs to warm up in your fingers. I like to push and press and pinch off a little bit at a time. I always work on my placemat. When I'm all done, I take it back and make a ball, put it back in my container, make sure my containers are standing, and my placemat goes under. Next up, we have our pattern blocks. Our pattern blocks, you can play with just the shapes, or you can decide to use the diagrams underneath. There are some that have colors, and there are some that are just black and white that make it a little bit trickier for you to figure out. It is up to you. As you finish, all of the pattern papers go back in, and all of the shapes go back in the bag. Next up, we have our shape by shape. The shape by shape is great for one or two friends to use at a time. It is in the baggie, and it's similar to our pattern blocks, but it is more like a game. You try to make the shapes that have the cards hidden underneath in a secret drawer. And it has the designs for you to create on them. So you have to try to create them. Next up is our wooden blocks. You're able to take those out onto your table, onto the floor, and build. There are all different types of shapes and tools to do so. Then we have dominoes. Dominoes actually have a game that goes along with them. If you know how to play that game, you are welcome to it. If not, you can just stack up your dominoes. This is great to do on the floor. And you make a design and you can tap and hit them down. Or you can just build with them. We also have the game of Jenga. There is the container in there that shows you how to actually play the game of Jenga, or you can just build with those wooden blocks. Up to you. We also have our Spirographs. There are only 4. Now, we need to make sure that our supplies stay in the correct containers. You will pick up a basket that has your gears and your pen inside, as well as the Spirograph sheet. You will also need a piece of paper, a free draw sheet, one from the free draw bin. Let's go see how to make a Spirograph. You're going to take your pen and your paper and your spiral art kit. You can open your spiral art. Careful, the bottom does come out. If it happens, just place it back inside. It's not a big deal. You're going to put your paper in between the 2 layers. Now, your paper won't fit perfectly, so it won't close, but that's okay. I'm going to start by using the biggest tool. I like to use the big circle tool because it is one of the easiest. Some of you may just have a regular pen, and that's totally fine. You're going to slowly turn those gears around and around. If you go too fast, like that, it could rip your paper, which I'll show you in a little bit. But it can go round and round. And if you do happen to get one, oops, that popped off, it's okay. It'll just pop right back in. If you do happen to get a pen that has the numerous colors, all you have to do is press the color you want down. If you want to change your colors, you just pop the top. Now this one, it's not working. Oh no, that one's not working. Don't worry, just find one that will stay and grab a new gear to start your spiral again. Remember, go slowly. You can change colors in between, but watch what happens if I try to go too fast. Sometimes that oval tool is tricky and it can tear and rip your paper, so be careful. We also have some plus blocks. What you can do is take one container to your seat, grab out the pluses, and start to create different designs. When it's all done, you have to, unfortunately, take apart your pieces and add one block back in at a time. Another building tool we have is our brain flakes. Similar to the plus blocks is they attach together, and you can build different things with them. As you finish, just like the plus, you have to take them apart and put it back in its container. Another building tool we have is our stacking blocks. They come in different shapes and different sizes, and you want to try to stack them as high as you can go without having them fall over. They can stack on all different edges. We also have a sewing activity. What you do is there are some bins and some different characters. You get 2 characters and 1 bin to use. What you're going to do is you're going to grab out the, look like shoelaces, and you can attach and sew the parts onto the characters. You line up the holes and you thread your needle through to attach the different pieces and parts. You do not need to tie any knots for this. As you finish, take out that, take off the outfits, put your characters back and your string back into your container. We also have 2 containers of Magna Tiles. One thing of Magna Tiles has a dot on it, and all dots stay with the dots. The other ones are empty. So keep dots with dots and empties with empties so that they all have the same amount. Magna Tiles are pretty cool because they magnetically stick together so you can build with them. When you are all done, we clean them up nice and neatly. Squares with squares, triangles with triangles. Make sure they fit back into their container so your drawer will fit back into its cubby. We also have some Picasso Legos. You can build and create with them at your seat or on the floor. When it is time to clean up, detach the Legos and put them back in their container. Last up, we have our books. Our books can be found on the bookshelf. We have some seasonal books, we have some art books, some animal books, miscellaneous, a little bit of everything, and some Arthur, Dr. Seuss, and Little Critter. When you borrow a book, you can read it in a safe spot in the room and then put it back in the colored bin you got it from. There we have our art stations. Remember, you are able to use the art stations as you finish early from your projects, and as long as there is enough time in the art day. When we use our art stations, we must remember to use all of these stations correctly, and we must clean them up correctly. If we are not using the stations properly, we can, as a whole class, lose our stations for a few weeks or even longer. We need to show that we can show our responsibility and keep them how they are supposed to be done. We clean them up even better than how we got them.